Hi guys, have you ever thought about what's really at stake when you can't resist getting into arguments all the time? It can ruin your peace and your potential to be a successful leader. Well, today let's dive into the consequences of pesky habit of being overly argumentative and how it might affect your life, your relationships, your leadership potential and overall happiness. So, let's get started. One of life's biggest challenges is getting along with our fellow human beings. It's like trying to herd cats because we are all a bit peculiar. We've got personalities that are as different as night and day. When someone does not see eye to eye with us or does something that we don't like, oh boy, it's game on. We transform into argumentative monkeys. We try to set them straight and prove our point. What do we get in return? Stress, tension, conflict. Arguing is like a tug of war. If two people pull too hard on opposite ends of a rope, the rope breaks down. Many moons ago, I worked with two pathologists who had big egos. They were always headbutting with everyone and with each other. Our department meetings were like war zone. There were bullets crisscrossing. It was unbearable and very uncomfortable. No one wanted to work with them. The atmosphere was borderline toxic. I was junior at that time. All of us were frustrated with our leader who wouldn't do anything about it. Guys, at the extreme end, argumentative people are disruptive and dysfunctional. So, why we should avoid arguing with people? First of all, it is unproductive. It never leads to productive outcome. Engaging in a heated debate often creates resistance in the other person. The more you argue with people, the less likely they are to change their mind. In fact, they will never agree with your perspective. Arguing tends to make people defensive. They get deeply entrenched in their own opinion. They feel attacked. They are not likely to be open to other ideas or solutions. Arguments sometimes feel like criticism. If people feel criticized, they will not work with you. I won't go into this in too much detail here because I have covered criticism in another video, why we should not condemn or criticize anyone. The link is in the description. Please watch. Arguments can damage relationships. It is difficult to deal with those who are combative. Believe me, I have seen the dysfunction it creates. Some people have the desire to win arguments at all cost, even at the cost of a relationship. And this is a sign of immaturity. I'd rather lose an argument to my husband than lose him to an argument. I would do the same with people at work. Even the best of arguments do not change anyone's mind. Think about the last time someone tried to change your mind with their argument. If you're honest, it probably did nothing to move you. I love this quote and I often share this quote with my clients in coaching sessions to help them understand why they should never get into argument. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. Wow, so beautiful. Plus guys, if you win an argument by proving your point, you have damaged the other person's ego. You have trashed their self-esteem. For small things, it feels like a pinprick. For big, it feels like a dagger in your heart. Over time, it leads to resentment and resistance. They will never collaborate or cooperate with you. In fact, they will not hesitate to publicly criticize and humiliate you at the earliest chance. So, if you're a mom or a dad, the best way to alienate your children is to try to win an argument with them. Do not do it. Grow up and save your family. Be a peacemaker. Let go of your ego. Most of us have big ego. We have the desire to be right. But if we argue, we are missing out on understanding other people's perspective. We fail to learn from them. We fail to find common ground.
This was the case in our household once upon a time, but then I had to make a decision to fix things. Is it more important to be right, or is it more important to keep peace? You know, guys, the culture at my home transformed when I made a decision to let go of my ego. Dale Carnegie, in his classic book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, talks about several reasons for avoiding argument at all cost. The book is a gem, but in particular, chapter 10 in part 3 is definitely worth the space in your memory bank. So, guys, let me speak verbatim from the book. You cannot win an argument, because if you lose it, you lose it. If you win it, you lose it. When you triumph over other man, shoot his argument full of holes and prove that he is non-compos mentis, you feel fine. But what about him? You have made him feel inferior. You have hurt his pride. He will always resent you. So guys, resist the temptation to be right always, because you cannot win over others by this approach. Look to others, those who have set good example in this regard. So can you name few people in your circle who never argue and who are peacemakers? Compliment them. Ask them for some tips. They are worthy of your admiration. There are several great leaders who have won epic battles without being contentious or argumentative. They inspire us. Gandhi led India's struggle for independence from British rule. He was committed to peaceful negotiation and dialogue rather than confrontation or violence. Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, and many others have accomplished a great deal with compassion and kindness. So, how can you be like them? How to stop from arguing? Talk less. Listen more. That's why God has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth. There is a lot more to be gained from listening to opposing viewpoints, so just listen. Remember that even if you win an argument, you have lost it, because you cannot change another person's opinion using this approach. If you have to deal with an argumentative jerk in a meeting or social circle, you know what I do? I often kill the argument by saying, "Sir, I understand your viewpoint. Case closed." I leave no room for it to continue because I don't want to waste my precious time. Even if I try, they won't listen to me because they are not in receptive state of mind. Lastly, if you cannot control your impulse to argue, then walk away. Leave the scene. Make an excuse to leave. If you were hiking in Arizona mountains and you saw a snake, would you not run away to save your life? Like snakes, being argumentative and contentious will definitely harm you. If you can't leave the scene, then change the topic. Guys, be loving and compassionate towards others. Choose to foster your relationships. You will feel much better in the end. How would it feel if you're successful in a materialistic way, but no one shows up at your funeral? What a waste of beautiful life. Folks, I know you are not like that in your dealings with other people. You are a mighty hero who has mastery over your language and behavior with others. And if you find yourself falling short, then loop this video and watch it again and again. Take charge.